Hey guys, so right now I'm making some waffles. You might know that my waffles are particularly legendary. I usually use maple syrup, but for some reason I've just been really craving Mrs. Butterworth. Think of it as being kind of a cheaper, well, as far as like non-maple syrups, it's one of the better ones. But I consider non-maple syrup to be kind of cheaper. But this is just what I've been craving lately for some reason. I don't mind cooking, but if there's one thing I don't like, it's the fucking cleanup afterwards. Hey guys, so I got Thomas coming to see me. Two orders, both from Evergood merch. I've got a bunch of stuff ordered from them right now. I know one of these orders is. The other one is a little bit of a mystery to me. I'm not sure what it is because I just wasn't able to keep up with it. So let's get right into it, figure out what I got in from them today. So starting off with this smaller black envelope. I think this one's a bit more of a mystery to me. I think I know it's in the larger envelope. Okay, so this is technically not from Evergood merch. Sort of from Evergood merch. This is from Evergood merch's wife. She'd started making her own pens too now. There's a few that I really hope get restocked because I was kind of sitting out on them. But yeah, when these two pens dropped, I thought they looked really cool. So I was like, okay, time to get into another pen company because that's just kind of how I work with pen companies. Like, I'll see, like, some pens that, I sort of like, but, I tend to dedicate myself to brands if you haven't noticed. So, like, it takes me a while for me to be able to make that commitment, but yeah, I am kind of prepared to commit myself to another pen brand, and that was, I guess, Evergood Merch's wife's brand, which is Cultural Girl Flair. So these are the first two pens that I've purchased, these Rebel emblems. This one's inspired by Ahsoka, and this one's inspired by, oh, what was that name of that character from Rebels? Her name will come to me, but that one Mandalorian from Rebels with the purple hair. Damn, her name just all of a sudden slipped my mind. I know her name, I just can't think of it right now. But yeah, there's about 3 other pens that I'm hoping will get restocked that I really liked on her website. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see on that. Sabine, that was her name. Yeah, a lot of her pens are focused around the female characters from Star Wars, and more specifically from Clone Wars and Rebels. So let's get this one that should be directly from Evergood merch. I was just trying to get into this bag, so I'm trying to be real careful opening it. Yeah, I did get a bunch of new toys for Thomas yesterday, so he's been quite happy today. So first off, I have another face mask. This one is a collaboration mask. So it's Darth Vader's mask. They collaborated with Midnight Society for that. They do a lot of collaborations with Midnight Society, I've noticed. And I got 2 pens. So if you're keeping up with me on Instagram, this is one that I was kind of freaking out because this is back when my internet was really terrible. And with this other hurricane coming, I'm probably going to have really bad internet again. So that's kind of stressful, but I was able to order these. Yeah, we got the pens from the Star Wars mystery pack that I ended up missing out on because I was still adjusting to my overnight schedule, and I just slept right through it. But first off, we have this Luke Skywalker pen. They have a Darth Vader pen that's designed like this one, so it's going to look great next to it. And we have this Obi-Wan Kenobi Force Ghost pen, so that's pretty neat. So that's on my orders for today. So yeah, my anxiety's been pretty bad lately with this hurricane coming in. It's been a while since my area's had a particularly bad hurricane season. Yeah, I think the last like really bad hurricane that I've experienced was Hurricane Katrina, which was back in 2005. I mean, we've been hit by a few, but I mean, they've been pretty minor. I mean, nothing that, you know, I felt. I mean, I've had school and stuff canceled, but I mean, to be fair, like, I could have probably braved the roads and made it if I had to, but yeah, I mean, Hurricane, what was it, Sally that we just got hit by? That one was pretty bad. I'm just really not prepared mentally to have to go through all that again just a few weeks later, so it's been putting me through a lot of really bad anxiety. Then this morning I got an email that was saying that like my renter's insurance was being canceled because of some payment that I didn't make, but I thought I had it set up to already take that payment. And obviously now is a really bad time to be losing insurance, so I was going through the website trying to make that payment manually, but because of how confusing it is, actually accidentally ended up paying my car insurance in total for a year, I think it was. Which, to be fair, that's a payment that I would have ended up having to make anyway, but, you know, I wasn't really ready to cough up all that much money in a year. And then, in addition to that, the payment I was actually supposed to make, so in total, that's about $400 I just coughed up right there, plus all my regular bills that are coming in, plus I just did car tag renewal, so yeah, I've had a lot of expenses right now. Like, I do try to have a fair amount of money saved up in the bank just in case of emergencies and such, but yeah, right now is actually the lowest amount of money that I've had in the bank in a long time, so yeah, that's kind of really hoping I can get some more money saved up, because like I said, I really want to have a generous amount of money saved up for my next tattoo. But yeah, I've just been going through a lot of stress and anxiety lately, but yeah, I really hope this hurricane isn't bad. Hey guys, so I just got done listening to Shiver by Yunzi, so I'm going to do a little review of it for you. So, Yunzi is the frontman of Sigur Rós, who's one of my all-time favorite bands, but they haven't released an album in 7 years, which is the longest time they've gone without releasing an album. One time they did go on, I believe, like a 4-year hiatus. They actually announced this hiatus, but yeah, they haven't actually announced any proper hiatus. They've just gone quiet for like the last 7 years. Not quite 7 years, actually, but yeah, during the whole Me Too movement, their drummer was accused of sexual assault, and so he left the band, and yeah, they've gone quiet ever since then. So even though they haven't properly announced it, I do feel that they have gone on some sort of hiatus or broken up, who knows, but their frontman Yunzi has remained active in various different music side projects. My hair looks terrible. Who am I kidding? My hair always looks terrible. But anyway, 10 years ago he released his first solo album, and it was very different from Sigur Rós, but I still really enjoyed it. It was a lot more orchestral. It was a really upbeat album, but, you know, still very beautiful, that, you know, had the same beauty that I associate with Sigur Rós. Then started releasing some tracks from this new album, and it wasn't that I didn't like them, but I was very unsure of how I felt about it. It's a lot more electronic driven. A lot of these songs, they'll have like electric guitar and keyboards, but they also have like a lot of pad synthesizers, a lot of drum beats. times it's pretty glitchy, but yeah, listening through, I'm overall pretty happy with the sound of it. I'm pretty happy with this album. I do enjoy it. Overall, it's a very chill album, but there's also a few more upbeat songs, and even the more simpler songs I feel like have a kind of strange, subtle, dancey quality to them. So yeah, I mean, obviously it's not going to be the same as Sigur Rós, and it shouldn't be the same as Sigur Rós, but yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with the sound of this album. So now I'll need to listen to the new Sufjan Stevens albums, because that was another album that I was kind of unsure about, but we'll see how that goes. Alright guys, I just got done listening to Sufjan Stevens' The Ascension, so I'm going to do a review of it for you. This is Sufjan Stevens' most recent album. He said that like he felt like it was a very urgent album, and a album that like needed to be like released like as soon as possible. So I was kind of anticipating it to be like something more relevant to current events. That is one thing that's been kind of disappointing to me about music in general right now, is like there's not very much music that's really relevant to current events right now. And like there's a lot of current events that could definitely be inspiring some music right now. So yeah, I was really particularly looking forward to the lyrics of this album, but I really only felt like a few songs on I felt particularly pertain to current events. Anyway, so the music side of it, I think it's kind of good to go over a brief history of the evolution of Sufjan Stevens' sound, because it's definitely gone through quite an evolution. So his first album was A Sun Came, which was sort of like this psychedelic folk rock type album. Had a lot of Middle Eastern influence to its sound. It was really unique, and in my opinion, one of his most underrated albums. Then after that, he drastically changed his sound on Enjoy Your Rabbit to a more electronic sound. It was an instrumental album. It was very buzzy, and although it was overall mostly electronic driven, it was also very orchestral. Then after that, he entered what I consider his classic era. His sound kind of took on a somewhat more predictable approach between albums, but it was a lot more folky. It was very symphonic, very lush. Had a wide variety of instruments going on. Even though, he did occasionally strip back a little bit, particularly on Seven Swans, but I mean, still, it was a fairly predictable era for him. Has a lot of, what most people think of Sufjan Stevens' sound came from that era. Then after that, he went to a more electronic sound again, and because a lot of newcomers just were familiar with his classic era, his shift with Age of Odds caught a lot of people off guard, but in my opinion, it's his best album. Still has a lot of his folky, symphonic elements going on, but kind of felt like it was going through like a filter to me that kind of like fucked it up with a lot of like electronic beats and electronic processing and such. So very interesting, unique, experimental album. Then after that, he significantly stripped down his sound. Basically, to me, it came across as a reminder that, he can still make some good, simple folk music with Carrie and Lowell. And then we come to right now with The Ascension. This is probably really his most straightforward electronic pop album that he's released. It's not bad. I mean, it's still pretty good as far as like electronic pop music goes. actually listened to a lot of more electronic driven music before it became really mainstream and got all bubblegummy. And this isn't a bubblegum pop album, don't want to bring that across to it. But see, as far as Sufjan Stevens' overall sound goes, this is easily, in my opinion, his most boring album. Is it his worst album? Just trying to think through everything that he released real quickly. I think no, this isn't quite his worst album. I think his worst would be the Avalanche Steel, just because it doesn't really feel very cohesive as an album. This at least feels cohesive as an album. Still, would sound. I feel like it's just kind of boring by his standards. It does have some songs that have some decent lyrics, but that's kind of the main thing that I like about it. I also really like the beats on it. A lot of the drums were played by James McAllister, who also played drums on his album Planetarium, which is more of a collaboration album between Sufjan Stevens and a few other musicians. So I don't really consider that a Sufjan Stevens solo album, but I do like James McAllister's drumming, and that's probably musically the highlight of this album. There's not a whole lot of guitar on it, not even a whole lot of like piano and stuff on it. It's mostly synthesizers and beats going on it, but yeah, fairly underwhelming by Sufjan Stevens standards. So, of the two new albums I got recently, I definitely think that Yanzi's album is a lot better.